Hi everybody, his Nibs here to introduce you to Conklin's new Heritage Collection of pens. They are 3 pens that reach back into the vaults of the great Conklin designs of decades past. And all are limited editions, limited to 98 pens for each of the 3 models. And that's in honor of Conklin's founding in 1898. And these are pretty spectacular pens, and they're all made in Italy using really lustrous and deep Italian resins. And I think you're going to like them. Now the first, in this video, the first one I'm going to show you is the Conklin word gauge. And I'm really happy that this is one of the pens that Conklin has decided to reintroduce. Since YAFA took over the Conklin brand, this is actually the first piston-fill fountain pen. And we'll go into more detail subsequently, but I'm just turning the end cap here. You can see the movement of the piston fill within the barrel of the pen. Now, the reason it's called word gauge is that there are markings along the barrel, yellow barrel, going from 1,000 to 5,000. And I'll leave it to you to exactly count the number of words you can write with a full fill, but that will depend somewhat upon the nib size that you select for your pen. Now this video and the other introducing the other 2 models, is a bit of a tease, because probably by the time you see this video there will be no more available. Again, only 98 of each model, and that's for all dealers worldwide. So my supply is very limited, and again, probably already sold out. But the good news is that what Conklin plans on doing is to continue producing the 3 models, but in different resin patterns in the future. So this red, and it's really a deep red. And here you can see Conklin word gauge engraved, along with made in Italy and the actual limited edition number for this particular pen. There'll be new resins for the models. So even though you're probably missing out on this initial issue, there will be more coming. Hopefully a couple of times a year. That's at least the plan from Conklin at this point. So let's take a little closer look at filling the pen. And I'm not going to ink this one up, but I will use some distilled water to show the filling process. And see you on the other side of this break. Thanks. Okay, continuing our look at the new Conklin word gauge, which is part of the Conklin Heritage Collection. Let's turn this around so you can take a look at the actual gauge, starting with 1,000 words up to 5,000 words, and a little scrunch room for a few extra beyond that. And let's see if we can get there we go. So you have Conklin word gauge, made in Italy, and the actual limited edition number of the total of 98, and which number this particular pen is. And let me just show you again the action of the piston itself. And as this is going to one of the few lucky customers that has responded quickly to my posting about this on the website, I'm not going to be filling this with ink, but I'm going to instead use some distilled water just to show you the filling action. So again, normally what you always want to do with a fountain pen is you want to immerse the nib and a bit of the section into the ink, or in this case water. And let me move this a little bit closer. I've turned the piston knob counterclockwise so that the piston itself is descended to the end of the reservoir. And I'm now going to turn clockwise, and you can see some of that water filling the reservoir. And as with most pistons, you're only going to get a partial fill the first time. There's going to be an air bubble. And so what you do while it's still submerged, you express the ink or water back into the bottle and much of the air. Use the piston again, and it's getting a little fuller. And you may have to do this a number of times to get a complete fill. We'll just do once more for giggles. And the air bubble is quite a bit smaller now. So you might need to do that one or two more times. And then, there goes that little air bubble. You can also use this pen as a level. Well, that didn't work too well. Anyway, and then when you finish filling with ink, some people recommend turning the piston to express a drop or two of fluid back into the ink bottle, and then turning the pen nib up and bringing the piston all the way down. And others suggest that, see, we still got a little air there. Well, that'll work fine. Others suggest that after the final fill, you don't need to bother with expressing the ink. Just turn the pen nib up, and as you turn the piston to the fully retracted position, any remaining air in the reservoir will rise to the top and out the nib. Anyway, that's what it looks like filled. So that's a quick look at the word gauge by Conklin, part of the Conklin Heritage Collection. And if you follow the link below to the website, you can read more about it, and also take a look at the sleeve filler and the Conklinetta, which actually hasn't arrived yet as I record this video. Each limited edition to 98 pens only worldwide. The pens each retail for $295. And I hear an order coming in for my email behind me as I speak. So thanks for watching. Look for another video on the sleeve filler, and probably in a couple of weeks the Conklinetta. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.